What is going on, Notre Dame fans? Mike Singer and Tim Hyde live on the Blue and Gold YouTube channel to discuss the Blue Gold game. It was like 70-30 or something. I couldn't pay attention to what the heck the scoring was, but we don't really care about that. We're here to discuss the key things to take away from this game. Folks, please hit the thumbs up on the video and subscribe to the Blue and Gold YouTube channel if you're new here. If you're watching live with us, whatever the case may be, really appreciate you making us a part of your day. So Tim, instant reactions. What do you think from the game today?
Number one, it was a lot of I enjoyed the hell out of it. I thought it was a lot of fun. Stunned how many players we saw. I mean, we saw a full scale team scrimmage today. We didn't. I mean, my God, Anthony Knapp and Billy Schroff were out there. I mean, Wagner's out there. Everyone was dressed and, got a couple of snaps here and there. Very impressed. I had a lot. I mean, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. Coming in, I seriously thought it was going to be a bunch of, you and I's out there running around and guys getting breaks and, 15 different interviews on Peacock with everyone that took a snap last year. And it wasn't that. It was a full scale football practice. Live tackling. I watched the Ohio State Buckeyes earlier, and their ones versus ones touched. They played two-hand touch, and Notre Dame was like, no, we're going to run a duo right at you right from the get-go with Price and Keidron Young and Aeneas Williams. And, man, that was just a lot. It was a lot of fun. I'm like, this might be one of the best spring games I've watched as far as competition, the athletes. There's a lot of damn good football players, man. And there is, I mean, I may say that 18 times today. There's a lot of good football players on that field. So very impressed. I already got a list of dudes, the highlights. So let's dive into it from there.
All right, let's talk about the quarterbacks first, Tim. What'd you think of those guys? Carr, 14 of 19, 170 yards, 2 touchdowns to the pick. Minchey, 6 of 14, 106 yards. 106 yards. Angeli, 8 of 11, 108 yards and the touchdown. And then as far as rushing goes for these guys, Minchey, I guess, this isn't sack adjusted, but Minchey did some things with his legs, had a touchdown run. Carr moved around a little bit, and Steve Angeli in the pocket. So what'd you think about the quarterbacks today, Tim?
I mean, I watched it as who's in control, footwork, arm talent. They all played with multiple different linemen, different centers. I think if you're just going off of straight quarterback football play, I mean, CJ Carr is the best quarterback. He throws the best ball. He's sweet in the pocket. Some of his movement, backpedaling a few times, like the all-out blitz. He's like, all right, one more step, then I'll dump it. He just looked like a quarterback. He's been playing quarterback his entire life.
Yeah.
Kenny Minchey just looks like his high school highlight film, and that's damn good. That's a guy who's in Elite 11. I mean, let's be brutally honest. You go to the 3 quarterbacks, the 2 quarterbacks that went to the Elite 11 look like elite quarterbacks that could lead Notre Dame. Not that Steve can't, but Steve is different than them. And it was just to me, it was noticeable. Steve throws some good balls. He had a hell of a throw again today. I think Steve going into his 4th year, this is our 4th spring game with him. We've seen him in a lot of games. I think you know what you're going to get with Steve. But, man, CJ Carr and Kenny mentioned that, and the last thing with Kenny is obviously Kenny with his feet. And it's hard in a spring game. You're going to overanalyze like the QB scramble he had. That, me personally, should have threw the damn football. He just took it, and I thought he ran too soon. But instead of looking downfield to throw, he's super talented, man. He's got an arm. Some of the dimes that CJ Carr threw were just – even the interception was like a rope that Ben Minnick made a hell of an interception on that deep crosser. So he's a talented quarterback, and I think it really showed. I think his confidence showed. It's gonna be interesting to see how this thing shakes out.
Yeah, my thoughts were Steve was Steve. Just normal Steve, early. Well, first, I want to mention this, Tim. I thought the first 45 minutes of it was is when you saw more of the ones, right? You saw your sorry, just got a little feedback there from me. So you saw your Anthony Knapps and your Charles Joggy Saws and all those guys. In the last hour, when Minchey let me also preface with we're trying to watch so much, and this is an instant reaction. We went live right after the game ended, so when we go live next on Monday, we're going to do a Monday this week instead of Tuesday because I'm traveling. Tim will have rewatched the game probably 6 times, so we'll be able to dive into a lot more. But just on first glance, I was like, man, Kenny and Steve started looking a lot better when it was they were playing with 2s and 3s, but they were going up against the 2s and the 3s. I thought that. Carr definitely had the best day. He threw the pick. I think saying a ball is pretty on a pick is crazy, but you know he still did have he had the best day. There's no denying that.
Yeah, I mean he looks like the best football player, the best quarterback out there in the pocket. And
let me finish.
Hold on. I'm not.
You interrupted me. You don't hold me on.
Hold on. I'm not going to dive in. I thought they rotated a ton. There were so many football players out there. It was all mixing and matching. Obviously, certain guys sat out.
They did, like but near the end, the ones were out. Like,
of course, it's a scrimmage, so they're out there. All 3 of them are playing with, mixed match of guys. Angeli threw to one of the walk-ons. The Carr touchdown was to a walk-on. So yeah, it was all mixing and matching at the end. But they each led a touchdown drive. Carr got his early. Carr obviously also had a 3 and out. He missed the little slant over the middle. But I mean, if you're just watching how people throw, how people play the quarterback position, it's a no-brainer. After this scrimmage.
If you are a blueandgold.com subscriber, which I hope everyone is, I would like, in what I had been reporting and talking to folks behind the scenes, I think was pretty much spot on for what you saw today. Angeli's Angeli, like I said. I mean, some good, some like, bro, move out of the pocket. That Steve was Steve today. Kenny flashes, and then he had a sack that on his blind side where he didn't feel the pressure at all. I don't know if the Kenny crowd is going to acknowledge that. We'll see. I don't know. Kenny was very good at times, and then man, it's like, what are you doing sometimes? Carr, man, it's going to be his job at some point.
Yes.
That's what we've been reporting. That's what I've been hearing. And I think that you feel good about that. So it's like, it's really just a matter of what does Notre Dame want? Do they really want to put out the guy with the most upside, in my opinion, which is CJ Carr? We're talking about it against Miami in the end of August. Do you want to put out CJ Carr? The upside, he just looks like it. Do you want to go with Minchey, who maybe even has more upside than Carr? You can make that argument. He's got the best legs on the team. Highs are high, lows are lows. Or do you want to go with Steady Steve? I don't know. Well, it's like it's not like to me, when you put in the whole context of all of the quarterbacks and everything about this team, Tim, and not just the game today, it's not like a clear-cut decision of who you go with. And it's not like a great problem to have. Like, you have 3 quarterbacks to go any football games, but it's not like you're choosing between chocolate or vanilla ice cream. It's like 2 amazing choices here. You really can't go wrong. Notre Dame could go wrong with this choice. Does that all make sense, Tim? Do you agree?
Oh, I don't think they're gonna make the wrong choice. I don't. I mean, the goal is, who's going to be the best quarterback as the season goes on. I mean, how is it not? I mean, how does anyone not just watch this or even read the reports or just it's going to be interesting. It's just going to be interesting. I could say a million things, but it's like, you're right. There's too many camps out there. I'm not trying to be biased. I literally just watched the quarterbacks. CJ Carr looks like the best quarterback who at Notre Dame in a long time, as far as straight quarterback play goes. It's just noticeable. It's completely noticeable. Minchey is super talented. Minchey looks like the quarterback when he committed. We loved on film, had a great Elite 11. He looked like that guy. He could run. He is completely different than his freshman year. You just see the growth in him, the confidence in him. He is night and day over his time at Notre Dame, bar none. It's so noticeable. And Steve, to me, is just. I'll be honest with you. I was expecting Steve to throw the ball more. There are some situations today. It's like, man, he's got to be a senior. Let him throw the damn football today. And he handed off a ton. And to me, I was more frustrated because I wanted to see him throw the ball more. And I don't think we saw him throw the ball more. There's some, especially inside the red zone a few times, like, come on, damn it, let him throw. So that's what I was looking at. CJ Carr, man, you can do a lot with him because he could throw. And he can move. We saw the little boot with him as well that you could do. He's way more shifty in the pocket than people give him credit for. I don't think it's that hard of a decision. But
so you're going Carr, just it's done.
I've said it for months. I think he's the best quarterback, and I think it shows.
Craig, thank you for the $5 super chat. He likes Carr.
Miami. And when we talk about you could win with, what do you want to win with? I don't think Steve Angeli is a national championship title contending quarterback who's going to make a difference with his arm and legs like the other two can. So those have to go into it. So, I mean, even last week with the scrimmage, when you read the reports, even then it's like everybody's like, Carr throws the best football. And it's just constant. So who do you want to go with? And
sometimes, Tim, I just need a yes or no out of you. So you're calling Carr.
He's the best quarterback. He's the best quarterback.
So that's a yes.
Play the best quarterback. Play the best quarterback.
Okay. So that is a yes. You're calling. You want Carr.
And what have I said since January 21st? Whoever wins this, you're picking a quarterback for the next couple of years. That's what you're doing. So that's got to go into your decision making. They got a ton of talent on this football team. They could win a lot of games. And then who's that guy you want in 26? Because if you go over this roster, they're not losing a lot of guys. I mean, 2025 might be a little pause in between 24 and 26. 26, they got so many dudes coming back. Obviously, you're going to lose so-and-so and this and that guy. It happens each and every year. But, dude, 2026 could be lights out with CJ Carr.
Okay. I feel like you ever watch those clips where you're in or in some like chamber or something and they're just asking a politician yes or no for an answer. They just want to say yes or no.
Question, Mike? I feel like
so I'm just looking for a yes or no. So you're calling for CJ.
CJ Carr is the best quarterback. He should start. He's the best quarterback.
Okay, so he should. So you want CJ to start against Miami? That's all I'm asking, Tim. Yeah. Okay. Damn, I'm asking the question. You won't give me a yes or no.
I said it. I feel like you're like trying to argue over certain.
I'm not. I'm asking a freaking question, Tim.
For 13 and a half minutes, Mike, I've said he's the best quarterback. What more do you want me to say?
If you want, I'm just asking you the damn question.
He's the best quarterback.
I'm dealing with Tim Hyde here, who does kind of bounce around on some things. So
there's no bounce around. He's the best damn quarterback. I'm just giving multiple reasons why he is.
All right. Well, I'm glad to hear it from you,
so
Tim.
Noticeable. I don't know how anyone can't watch that and just say, that's the best damn quarterback with the ball in his hands.
Today, he was definitely the best quarterback. There's no doubt. And I think he will be, like, when all three of these guys' college careers are done, I think CJ Carr is going to be the best quarterback. There's no doubt about it.
So play him. Play him. Easy as that. Not this. Well, we'll ease into it. Play him.
Tim, some other standouts, I thought, let's see. I even tweeted out a group. I thought Nolan James was great. He looked like Kyron Williams out there, which was kind of his comp as a recruit. Jerome Bettis made some plays. All three of the class of 2025 wide receivers, I thought, flash. Jack Larson on that catch from CJ Carr downfield was awesome. Luke Talich led the team in tackles with 9 and also had that goal line stand. Cole Mullins, as an interior defensive lineman, had 5 stops and a TFL. Carson Hobbs definitely made some plays as well and had himself 2 PBUs and a tackle for loss. Those are some of the guys that I thought from the 2024 and 2025 classes. Obviously, Carr had himself a day as well. Bryce Young looked good. Made early in the game, had a nice play. Who stood out to you, Tim? Some of these young guys, because I know going into the game, you're hyped about the blue gold game because it's so much about these young guys.
Yeah, I mean, Carson Hobbs is all over the place. And that I was going over my pre-spring questions, and one of mine was like the third corner. Yeah, he's the third corner. He is unbelievable today. I know Creed Thomas has been getting a lot of hype. I saw him maybe once. Hobbs is everywhere. Now the ball's coming his way and he's attacking it. But he's attacking it. Pass breakups. Could have had the pick on the end zone where Minchey forces it over the middle, and Hobbs is like, dude, pick that thing. You're right there. Heck of a on that deep in cut there in the back of the end zone. He really stood out. He was outstanding to watch out there. I'll tell you what, man, Sullivan Absher looked like he's definitely that next man in on the interior. He had some monster inside blocks at center. Then he played guard in the second half, but excellent. I loved him inside. A few things to clean up here and there, but his physicality was noticeable. Styles Prescott, wow. He's not blocking, Boubacar and All-American DNs today, but I loved the way he played. He really stood out. I wanted to watch some of those young guys, and he really stood out.
Mm-hmm.
Our boy that we've been talking about for a year, Cam Herron, is going to start at Notre Dame. He flatbacked Sean Seviano one time, stuffed him on one pass pro. Sean didn't even move on one pass pro. Just literally
different to like 75 pounds there or something.
Oh, my God. And Cam Herron's like, yeah, I'm stronger than you. Boom. Doesn't even move. Aeneas Williams, he's a stud. I love the guy. He has one blitz pickup. He just knocked somebody down. It was KVA actually on a blitz. He stuffs him. Very impressed with 6th-year Kevin Bauman.
Yep.
84 just had some blocks on a couple inside on some duos where he's comboing down. Very impressed with him. And I put KVA and Keidron Young those two numbers just pop constantly out there. And then lastly, it was awesome to see the starting offensive line. You're going to see Knapp. You're going to see Billy. It's going to be Ashton Craig inside once he's healthy. Jagasaw and Wagner. Those are your 5.
Yeah.
I thought they moved well, blocked well. Jagasaw and Wagner gave up one pressure. Was that on Angeli? It might have been an Angeli one where Jagasaw should have passed him off. And those are hard. Those are I wrote down communication sack. And Wagner, you could tell his body language, like, damn it, we should have passed that off quicker. So, but those guys working together. But that starting 5 is going to be damn good. Absher is going to be that next man inside. Get Lambert back to be that third tackle. And then Styles Prescott showed me he definitely can play, be that third tackle, which is something I brought up on our show this week. And it's really stuck on me about who is this year's 2023 Rocco and Pat Coogan. Who are some of those third-year guys stepping up now to be counted on, meaning guys like Sullivan Absher. Joe Otting played left guard. Joe Otting played, but he's a better guard than a center. My God, He had some butt-kicking blocks at guard today. Real good-looking, physical guard. Very impressed with him.
Yeah, the first team offensive line that went out there was Knapp at left tackle, Schrouth left guard, Absher center. And then I think Otting played some center too. I think he was out there with Charles Jagasaw was the right guard, and then right tackle Wagner. I think if you would have asked us before spring ball, we would have probably flipped Jagasaw, and we would have thought Knapp would slide inside. And but no, Coach Rudolph likes Knapp at left tackle, and something we talked about a lot in recent shows. It just seems like when Ashton Craig gets healthy, Tim, slide him in at center. And there you go. And that's your offensive line. You like that group, Tim? You think that's the right call?
Yeah. The key was always Charles, because he was the key. Where do you want to play him? And when Coach Rudolph says he's an NFL starting offensive guard on day one, I think that was the key. They trust Knapp. Knapp's got a ton of Robert Hainsey, Zach Martin type in him with the size. You could see him being a 3-4 year starter out there, and it's a damn good group. Plus Knapp, it's funny. Knapp and Billy just worked so good together on some of the twists. Their pass protection on their side was excellent because they played so many darn games together. where you saw Jagasaw, Wagner, just some communication things, getting in the groove together, and that's going to come. So the run game, I'm telling you, they hit some duos early in the game, and it was just Jagasaw and Absher just, I mean, it's 700 pounds, just caving people in, and woo, and that's where, to me, I was like, yeah, that's what Coach Rudolph sees. We're just going to slam people inside.
Yeah, I think it's worth noting no center issues on snaps,
None.
right?
None.
I can't think of a single one all day. So that's you got Absher and Craig in there, or excuse me, Absher and Ottering in there, and Heron played some center too, right? Yeah,
Cam Heron, he had 3 different centers today.
all good on the snaps, especially Absher. I don't think he's played any center on probably until this spring, I would imagine, and he's one of the biggest guys, especially in terms of height on that offense line. He's like 6'7", 6'8". So that's not easy to do at that size to get down there and snap. So I definitely think that's worth noting. Tim, I'm curious defensively. Now, look, we're not expecting Coach Ash to go out and do some exotic stuff or anything like that. But just on the first watch, was there anything noticeable with the defense, with the new defense coordinator?
No, I mean, some more zone. I mean, it's a spring game, spring. It's funny we say spring game, and they're still practicing a couple days next week. So this was more of a team scrimmage. But no, I mean, a couple zones here and there. Like Angeli thought it was going to be man. He threw it right into zone, thinking it was going to be a crosser. Hobbs hits the guy.
Yep.
You got to be, that drive ended right there. So a few of those. And I'm sitting there, and it's in my notes. It's like Angeli just read the corner bails. KK Smith wide open, waiting for the out. Would it caught it, been a first down, and Angeli just never saw it. But yeah, I mean, a few of those. Defense, they rotated so many guys. The interior is just rotating, but that first group, man, when you go Rubio and Anya inside, a couple 310, 315ers in there, huge. They looked that front four just looked massive out there, and that's missing multiple guys, obviously, still. And Logan Thomas in at practice today, I saw, and Brendan Vernon was out. So, but very impressed with the Louisville guy. So he had one really nice pressure against Jagasaw and Wagner. Very impressed with Zinter. I thought did some good things. He played a lot of Viper today, and that was impressive. But yeah, the Louisville guy's solid, and Elijah Hughes looked a lot bigger than I expected. He got off the ball a few times. I'm like, who is that guy? I'm like, I got my notebook right there. So 56. There you go.
You lose Ben Morrison and Howard Cross and Xavier Watts and Riley Mills, and man, this defense is going to be nasty yet again. It's going to be a very good group.
It's oh yeah, I mean, even Devontae Smith was in there. He had the one pass breakup early in the game. I think that was the first series, right, against Angeli. He broke up a great house one, if I remember right. But they're fast all over the place. They just are. With Leonard Moore, great. This defense is going to be lights out. That game one is just going to be, man, it's going to be awesome.
In terms of starters, did Moore play much? I know I saw Christian Gray out there. Did Moore play? Leonard Moore?
Yeah, it's funny because you're sitting there, we're so focused on the offense. If he was out there, he was out there.
Yeah.
He was out there the first couple snaps. Same with the Don Schuler. If he was out there, he got a couple snaps, and he's over there drinking Gatorade the rest of the day.
Yeah.
You got
doesn't need to.
Yeah, Same with Johnson played. I saw Talich was obviously all over the place. Ben Minnick. Yeah, I mean that's what I was saying. They played so many guys. It was just a constant rotation of those two deep guys. It didn't really matter who was out there. They were flying around, making plays.
Just scrolling the press conference from Marcus Freeman. Oh, I actually got something for you here, Tim. Tweet from Jack Sobel. He says, Freeman said Notre Dame would like to go into the fall with a 2-quarterback battle. Maybe he watched the show the other day, Tim. He says no decisions as to which 2 quarterbacks it will have been made. It will have been. Okay, Singer, come on, struggle. Freeman said there was a lot of good from all 3 signal callers today, which reflects the first 11 practices. So, like you talked about on Tuesday night, Tim, you can't do 3 quarterbacks in August. I mean, And I completely agree with you. That was a great take, and it looks like Freeman's on board with that.
I mean, you just can't. You just do the math. Even today, when one's watching, two are, when one's playing, excuse me, two are watching. So for every rep you get, two you don't get. So it's just like that adds up. How are you getting better? How are you getting better if you're watching 2/3 of the time? I've never understood that. So, even what we saw today, through this whole spring, 2/3 of the time these quarterbacks are watching. So you don't get better unless you're playing. It's got to be a 2-man race, and it's going to be you two, and just get after it. Get after it. You're going to get 50-50 reps. Hebert, is going to redshirt. He's your number 3 quarterback. We're assuming obviously if someone leaves, but the fact that Freeman says that, they know who their two are. I think he meets, not that he's going to make an announcement, but I heard he meets with the press again on Wednesday. I think that might be their last day because, they're going to be on the road recruiting pretty soon. So,
yeah,
and then the portal opens up. I'm not expecting him to make an announcement. I think the announcement will come from if someone does enter the portal during that, was it 10 days, 7 days, 10-day window, whatever the heck it is. But, I believe he knows who the two are.
All right, and a timely super chat from Andrew Gilmore says, which two do you take to fall camp? Do you ask the third to transfer? I mean, the third would. Third would transfer. I mean, regardless of who it is. I mean, we know for sure it's not going to be Carr. Carr will not be third, right? But whoever the third is between Angeli or Minchey, you would imagine they would. Definitely Angeli. Minchey, I potentially could see him sticking around kind of like Pine did. But you would imagine the third guy would bolt. What do you think?
The two, once again, I'm going with the best athletes, the best upside. I'm thinking long term. You got multiple years out of these guys. Carr and Minchey are the best quarterbacks. Those are the ones that you could do so much with those guys on the football field. Build the offense around them. I mean, heck, last year we're talking about no veterans. This year you got a veteran offensive line, guys with a lot of reps. Mike, you got 4. You could win with 4 of these tailbacks. I mean, Keeter Young's your 4th tailback. Aeneas Williams is a stud. I love Aeneas. He is going to play a ton. Jabron Payne got a bunch, but, he's your 5th guy. Nolan James is your 6th. You legitimately have 4 guys, but Cyber's like, I'm playing 3. It's hard to get all those guys in there. And you have the number 1 tailback in the country. You have Price. Price ran like a man possessed today.
Looked great.
He got after it. And the defense, you have a top 10 potential on defense with a ton of, who would have thought that the D line is going to have 12 players that could probably play for them? That's a lot of depth. So, man, go with the upside at quarterback. That's just my humble opinion. Go with the upside. Let those guys make some mistakes. You could count on them to do some things. They got unbelievable arms. Let those 2 guys go play football.
Okay. So you think the third quarterback would leave?
Yeah, the question was, the question is, do you take 2 into camp? And my 2 would be Carr and Minchey.
Okay.
Because if Carr goes down, what you could do with Minchey. You could run. He could be a Riley Leonard type guy. And if Minchey's the guy and Minchey goes down, you could go in there with Carr and have success throwing the ball, play action, hell of an arm. His accuracy's on target. He's lights out.
This was definitely the most we've seen of Kenny. I mean, the spring game last year, I can't remember, but I don't remember thinking a whole lot. Like, this was the first, like, all right, let's see this guy. But the question was, do you ask the third to leave or the third to transfer? I don't know how you handle that. It's a Marcus Freeman.
Those are, hey, you got to leave. That'll
work itself out.
It always does. I've been around football programs where they're like, oh, you're going to have a cutting policy? It always works itself out. Yeah. Little Billy knows he can't play, and he'll go play JV basketball instead. It always works out.
Watch some clips, Tim. This was definitely I would say the play of the day, this pass from Carr to Jack Larson's great pocket and just drops a dime over a Don Schuler and Jack Larson, a guy who's always been like a forgotten guy in the tight end
Right.
room, but he's not like a Mike Mayer, Mitchell Levins, like an every down tight end. He's definitely a situational H-back kind of tight end with a limited ceiling, but Jack Larson's a really good receiving tight end.
Yes, yeah. I mean, he looked good today on his few plays out there. Eli Reardon looked really nice. It was, nice to get him. But like, he had like three of these today. Carr had like three or four of those where it's just spiral. I'm going to hit you right in the numbers, no matter where it's at down the field. Obviously some of his stats are, just some little, dump passes to the running backs. What I liked is how he set up a couple. Thought he was calm in the pocket versus a couple blitzes. He looked nice, but yeah, the ball down, the handful of balls he threw down the field were nice.
Yeah. I mean, there's not really any other clips to share right now. There's just what's on social media. There are other touchdown, like some of the touchdowns were not super interesting. I mean, I guess the Kenny Minchey backflip was fun.
Yeah. Kenny on the zone they ran this like 8 times in the game. This little dump pass. It could be a dump pass. All the quarterbacks ran through. Angeli hit Richardson right on the one drag on the crosser.
Yeah, that was nice.
That was a touchdown, right, on that one. No, overall, I mean, I got here's Tay Johnson he had the pass breakup against Kenny Minchey on that was the second series right here. But just going over it, I was impressed with just the athletes and how these guys got after it. I thought there was a lot of hunger out there. I just wanted to play football. I mean, you could just feel it. It was clear as day. What is this?
Eric, appreciate the 20 says even with the pick, it's clear CJ is the best quarterback, best arm, best touch. Angeli's third through too many safe short throws. Yeah, I don't remember Angeli corking back and tossing any really downfield.
That's why there's a few, Mike. That's why I was like, come on, Denbrock, call more power. I want to see him throw the ball more.
Yeah, I think it was his second or third drive. There was that 3-and-out where they were backed up, and it was like, oh man, yeah, I wanted to see him that more. But he had the least amount of passing attempts, 11 for him. Minchey 14 and Carr 19. I don't really think there's much to read into that.
No,
just Carr's teams just moved the ball the most. But yeah, Minchey definitely took some shots downfield. Some were nice, some weren't. Yes, this is steady Steve. It was, same old Steve, really.
Yeah, on the very first drive, Steve hits the
Eric, appreciate the 20.
The whip route to Great House, which was a heck of a throw versus Hobbs. Beat Hobbs to extend the drive. There's the one on the one sack I wrote. He never looked at KK was open and they played zone. But Freeman, the dump to Saldante. Yeah, just I mean, that was just me. It's like Steve's going into his fourth year, and it's like, dude, I want to see him throw 25 times today.
Yeah,
that was my expectations.
Yeah, I think if you're in the Steve Angeli camp, which I feel like people think that I'm just always out here clamoring for Steve. I of course I love Steve. I've been very excited about him since he was a junior in high school. But I think if you watch our shows for the past couple months, I'm not like out here like putting a hashtag out. Why not Steve? I'm not doing any of that. Okay, I think if you're in this talking about Steve, you wanted to go into from the Steve angle, you're going into spring ball and you're thinking, I'm going to come out and I'm going to make it so clear that I'm the guy. Like I'm the season one. Maybe a lot of the guys in the locker room want me because I've been here for so long and, I'm the upperclassman, right? I don't think he did that this spring. I don't think he came in and just took it by, took the bull by the horns and said, this is my job. I don't think that happened. I think it's going into this, spring ball's not over, by the way. That was practice 12, right? You get 15. So you got 3 more practices. I don't think they're going to be like, super high intensity or, anything like that. You got to remember that Notre Dame was working it was a limited spring. What started the 18th, Tim? It's the 12th. So it's not even been a month. And then of course you're not going to have your spring game Easter weekend. And you're not going to take it late into April. So this was just what it was. Your spring game is going to be today. And then they'll have, I'm guessing, practice like, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, something like that. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, I just don't think that it was Steve's. I don't think he had a great spring to like jump on top, and I'm like the no-brainer QB1 to this staff. That's my kind of opinion and read on it. I truly don't know who's going to be QB1 against Miami. If you would have asked me, March 17th, the day before spring ball started, I would have said, I think it's Steve with, Carr having a case. And then I just didn't see the path for Minchey. And when I say path for Minchey, just like I didn't see it, Minchey being the guy. And now, dude, I could see it being Carr. I really could. So, but I don't know. I don't know.
And Minchey's talent. I mean, Minchey's got a ton of talent. It's noticeable. I mean, that's the whole scrimmage, just watching it on TV, and like I mentioned earlier, it's the two quarterbacks that were in the Elite 11 and competed at a high level showed out. That's not that that's the end all, the be all, but you know what I mean. But just their talent really showed how they are really good nationally, type quarterbacks that could play multiple schools. So I hope. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I hope they don't leave, because you always need someone else. You always need that next guy, and that's why if Minchey just ends up being the guy because he's just the better athlete, he goes down. Carr.
He looks good.
Carr.
Kenny looked good, man.
Oh,
Kenny looked good at times. He didn't look good at times. CJ flashed. Steve was Steve. I don't know. It's a good quarterback room right now with a lot of potential, but it's not like great. I don't know.
Yeah, but you're also
it's complicated. It's a complicated situation.
You're not out there that's what I'm saying. I mean, when I'm watching the scrimmage and I'm thinking of Kenny and Carr, I'm like, you could do a lot with these guys because you're going to have great house. Will Pauling has got athleticism for days. That guy's going to get after it. You don't even have, Fields in the boundary. You don't even have Faison, who's the dude out there.
Great house played like 5 snaps or something, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. Had the nice little first down early in the game from Steve. So you still don't have a few of these guys. You didn't even, we didn't see a swing pass to Jeremiah Love. Wait till he gets in there. So there's talent. That's what I'm saying. You got, just go with the highest upside. Go with the guy is going to make electric plays down the road, and you got a defense to back them up.
I do wonder. I wonder, like the coaching staff is human, right? They know what is out there for the fans. They know what the media is saying. Like they have to. They're humans, right? Unless they're just not looking at social media or they don't hear anything from others in the building or what people are saying. Like they have to feel go with Carr. And because if you go with Steve and then you lose against Miami, I don't know, dude. And it's just like, then you go to Carr and he's the guy, it just doesn't look good. I don't know. I'm just kind of spitballing here. I'm fast. This is obviously it's fascinating. It's a quarterback battle at Notre Dame, a true quarterback battle. We haven't had that in a while, but there's so many layers to this, Tim. That's fascinating. Like people just saying it's Carr, no doubt. But I get it. I get it, but it's still complicated. I don't know.
But at the same time, they're watching film each and every day. They're seeing all the things. Yeah, they could, the media could say what the media wants. Fans, fans want to, start so and so just because his, recruit ranking's higher. They think he's automatically better. That fans do. But they're watching all this stuff, and it's always off the tape. It's always off. Who is that quarterback that's going to allow us to attack teams, and especially once we get all our guys together, who's that quarterback that's going to make that dynamic throw on 3rd and 9. And that's why I'm saying it's from what I saw today. It's just Carr with the way he throws. I could see him just throwing. It's 3rd and 12 and just zinging an out route for a
Yeah.
first down that fields in the boundary just because its accuracy is so damn good.
I hear you. Why I'm kind of leaning on the complicate, like while I'm talking about that. Let me give you this example. I think we agree that the defense loses some guys, but man, the defense is going to be very, very good again. The offense has got weapons. The running backs are deep. The receivers, some of those young the young guys look good. We're not going to see Scrap Richardson, Jerome Bettis, but I think we're going to see Elijah Burris. Will Pauling has got speed, as you just talked about. The tight ends, it's not a great vintage tight end room at Notre Dame, but the tight ends I thought looked pretty good today.
They have an NFL guy. Reardon's an NFL dude.
Malachi Fields, some of these receivers, Great House looks like he's going to be a dude.
Yes.
He's just kind of continues to build off of what he did those last 2 games of the season. So all that being said, you can make an argument, man, just go with Steve. He's going to take care of the football and, just be a distributor, get the skill guys the ball and let them do their thing and don't screw up. Or it's like, man, we do have so much talent. Why don't we just put Carr out there? Maybe he throws some picks. Maybe he makes some bad decisions. But, hey, our defense is so good. And, Carr can throw out routes to Pauling. He can throw swing passes out to Love. Why not just let Carr do that? You see what I'm saying, Tim? It's just like, what do you want? What do you want? Or do you want more in the quarterback run game? Hey, we had Riley Leonard do this last year. Why don't we just kind of lean on that? And maybe Minchey does some things, but hey, our defense, we can make up for it. See what I'm saying? Like that's why it's like, do you like strawberry ice cream? Do you like chocolate ice cream? Do you like vanilla ice cream? It's just, they're all good choices. Are you with me, Tim? Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's really just a matter of preference in a way.
Yeah. And I'm going to say it 1,000 times. You go back and it's also that guy, like, who do we want to build with? I mean, just you have multiple years with these, so you're not going to do this each and every year. Even the number 2, even the number 2, he's going to be thinking like like Ian Book in 2018. I'm just going to sit back and just wait my turn, and then if someone wets the bed, I'm going to jump in on it and take it. So because because the talent right there, and once I get in there, I'm in, and I'm not giving it up. Kind of like Deshaun Kaiser. Malik Zaire gets hurt. Deshaun Kaiser comes in, has a heck of a last 10 games to 2015, and doesn't give it up in 16. So that battle that takes place. But that's why there's just so many weapons. So it's I don't want to use the word boring, but it's like Steve can be boring, obviously, because he doesn't have
right.
He doesn't have.
But do you want boring? Like, do you want? I don't know.
But is boring going to get you where you? I mean, boring. Riley Leonard was not boring. They needed him to make.
Was Jack Cohn boring? Jack Cohn,
Yeah, he was boring. That's why they lost to Cincinnati. They had no.
Yeah.
They were boring. Even though he threw for 500 some odd yards in the Fiesta Bowl, but
right.
They just it could be an electric football team. There's no. I'm just watching these guys out there today, and I'm just thinking like, there's no way in hell this team could go 10-2. Of course they can, so there is always a way. But when you're just seeing the athletes out here, for them to go 10-2, then they just screwed up.
Oh yeah. Do you think we're buying into too much receiver hype, Tim? Is that on it?
It's not even receiver. I'm not even buying into that hype. I'm just talking about the athletes in general. This football team, in general, it's like. Miami's going to be tough. I don't give a darn what anyone says. It's game 1. They got a ton of athletes. They are going to match up with Notre Dame all over the place. They're not going to have an issue matching up. Miami's got athletes. So that game is going to be just like A&M. That thing was tied until 4 minutes to go. So it's going to be that type of a football game down there in South Florida. You get out of Miami alive, and you're right back to 2024. Where you're legitimately hosting another football game. I think that goal with this team, this talent, it's right there, man. It's right there. And, and I came into today like I really didn't know what to expect. I'm like, is one of these guys just going to just panic and freak out? I don't think we saw that at all. I think we saw three solid quarterbacks that managed the offense in the huddle, very well.
Sorry, Ty. I know when you see me laughing, it's usually because you said something sus. So it's not the case.
No, what happened?
This is an all-time typo right here. G. Taylor says, I definitely agree with Tim, fat ass. Whoever you go with has to be the guy for multiple seasons. He meant to say far as, but I was crying laughing over here when I read that. I was like, why are you calling Tim a fat ass? No, he meant far as.
I eat some salads here. Come on. I'm not just slamming onion rings.
Sorry, guys.
I love it.
All right. So we spent a lot, I think, I think we're on the same page as quarterback. It took us a minute to get there, but I'm still kind of holding out my opinion on stamping who I think should be QB1. I know you are, which is why I wanted to just make sure we were on the same page of what you were saying, that you were stamping, that you were like, all right, you've seen enough Carr's QB1. I still haven't.
I'm thinking long term. See, that's my entire thing on this is, bam, long term. And if Steve came out and he was throwing dimes and he looks like that senior. You know what I mean, Mike? Like, I'm that senior in the room. I'm going to take this thing over. This is my huddle. That's why I wanted to see him throw the damn thing more. And I know they got backup receivers and all that. I just wanted to watch him throw. That's what I was expecting. Seriously, that was probably one of my probably the biggest disappointment today is Steve is going into his senior year. Let him throw.
Yeah.
Let showcase him today. That's what I wanted to see. And
we wanted to see it, but I'm sure they've seen it through the first 11 practices and, for years now.
And just to go and
wanted to see it. Yeah.
Instead, I felt they just let Steve manage the offense. And that's what I came away with. Like, oh, they're just letting Steve manage the offense. They're doing more with Minchey and Carr because they know the ability they have with them. That's why I'm like, those are the two.
Is there any tinfoil hat, like, shout out to Goolsby, like any tinfoil hat if they wanted to showcase those guys more than and didn't want to showcase? Do you think there is anything like that, or?
No, because we've seen Steve in the fourth quarter of games, so that's why I'm like, no, they're not hiding anything. He's not out there with a laser arm all of a sudden doing whatever he's doing and running QB ISO for 8 yards.
Well, not that, just like I don't know. I don't know.
Your point, Steve, is Steve. That's exactly.
Wanted to see something else. Yeah,
I think that was the biggest takeaway. Like, okay, I've seen this guy in the fourth quarter of every blowout. I've seen this nonstop. I've seen the little boot. He's great at the boot. Why? Because he was damn good at it in high school.
He was
really good at that in high school. Even Minchey, when Minchey went under center and ran that boot through that deep out route, I'm like, whoo, that is talent. That is arm talent. So, that's what I came away with there.
Yeah.
Defensively, athletes everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm just.
Hold on, Tim. Before we move on, and want to tell folks, please hit the thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube. Really great live viewership today. I'm sure we have a great viewership after the show has aired. Please hit the thumbs up. Subscribe to the YouTube channel here at Blue and Gold. Go to blueandgold.com for much more coverage. U2K says, I think Minchey and Carr should be 1 and 2 and let Steve look for an opportunity elsewhere if he so chooses. Man, the thing about Steve, so if you want to go with Carr or Minchey, Steve is just such a good backup to have.
Mm-hmm.
He's like Pine. Like I always thought Pine, man, that's a great number 2 because he can come in, he can still win you some football games. And, he's got a very limited ceiling, but a very high floor. Like, Drew Pine, like Angeli is a better player than Drew Pine. So he would be someone you would want to take in to the season. So I just have a hard time doing something where they're asking Steve to walk. I mean, that would be a very bad decision in my opinion. And, you're going into Miami with talented quarterbacks, but, very no experience. Let's just call it space fade. Zero experience at the college level.
But
So
you're not. Yeah, I mean, you're not playing 2020 Alabama. That's the other thing. I mean, it's Miami is the name, is the brand, all that. Obviously, playing down there, the heat is going to be intense. Game one, everyone's ready to roll. So it's not like you're playing a depleted or beaten up Miami in game six. No, it's game one. So their mindset, this is their Super Bowl. They know it as well. So they're going to be in that game hyped up as can be, just like A&M. Like I said, that game, people forget A&M is 13-13. A&M ended up losing 5 games last year, okay, counting the bowl game to SC. 5 games. They were 13-13 in the fourth quarter with 4 minutes to go. So it's going to be a tight game. But I mean, the whole thing with the portal, I know, because I hear a lot of coaches talk about they like the spring portal. But man, Mike, how do you, if you're CJ Carr, Kenny Minchey, Steve Angeli, you're right. How do you leave when you won't see your team until June 15th? I'm just throwing a date out. June 15th when summer school starts, right? And you're coming in as a transfer, unless you're just going to a program that has no quarterbacks, but everyone's got a quarterback, right? I'm talking Power 4 in general. Unless you're one of those 3 quarterbacks and Kenny's like, I'm just going to go to Tennessee, Chattanooga and just go beat out their guy down there, which, he's obviously better than that. I'm just using that as an example, but you're right. How do you leave in the spring portal window and expect to be the guy in the fall? It's crazy because me personally, because the NCAA, the Coaches Association, they all want one portal. They only want one. They're going to only one. And it's sounding like the one window is going to be in the spring, which I think stinks.
yeah,
I would rather, if you're going to go now, unless you're a grad transfer. Grad transfers, you do whatever the heck you want. You graduated,
yeah.
you've done your duty at going to school. Congrats to you. But I don't. If I'm Steve Angeli, and you know this, Mike, you've been here 3 years. You played in games in all 3 years. Every year he's been in a game.
Yeah.
You've got 2 years of eligibility. Where can you go? That's a Power 4 program looking for a quarterback. I don't know.
So they're talking about eliminating the winter period, and it's only spring. The winter one, it's great because you have spring ball, right?
Exactly.
You're there,
but for some reason, the coaches keep talking. The Coaches Association wants it in the spring.
That will really limit transfers, in my opinion. And G. Taylor did it again.
That's what they're trying to do.
Did it again. You meant far as G. Taylor.
He's killing me today.
Oh man, I'm dying over here.
But that is what the Coaches Association's pushing. One spring portal window.
So I talked about the Angeli thing. So Ape Gambino says, so we'd rather let Minchey walk? I don't know. I don't know, dude. Just saying. I don't know.
But if he walks, if he walks, where's he? I don't know.
I could see. I do think there's a scenario where all 3 stay. Some people I talk to think that's going to be the case. Some people don't. I don't know. Really don't know. Tim, I thought Preston Zinter had himself a nice game. Played a lot of D-end, huh?
Some D-end, some linebacker. Yeah, he's been one of those guys that keeps running around, making a play. I know he got the sack on Matty Augustine. That was the Minchey one in the red zone. I went back and rewatched that son of a gun twice. I think Matty thought Aeneas Williams was going to chip him, and then he reacted too late. That's what I saw. That's how Minchey, got the little heat there. But Matty Augustine made some really nice blocks today he does look like a tight end, by the way. If he's 290 pounds, then he's the skinniest 290 I've ever seen in my life. So he is a long, lean football player. Very, and just real quick on the O-line, I know I said it earlier. Dude, I was so impressed with Otting. Really, really impressed. He's one of those, the Tim Hyde philosophy, we'll see you in year 3. Yeah, it's year 3 for him and Apsher, and those guys definitely could be counted on, I feel, if something happens. And Mike, I went back just real quick. I went back all the way to I was thinking of O-line because, everyone thinking, we're so loaded, we're so stacked. I get it. But dudes are going to get hurt. I mean, the O-line from 2018 to 24 has had guys get hurt and miss the season. So those
Yeah, just saw Lambert go down.
Lambert when he gets back, Styles, Prescott, these guys are going to start at some point this season. We are going to see them, and that's crazy. So that depth, I know we talked about it before. Notre Dame lost 4 interior guys. Some young guys are gonna have to replace them inside.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about, Tim, before we sign off?
No. I just want to just keep saying the very positive, man. I was just really loved today. I love, just going back, seeing the starting offensive line out there, seeing so many guys play that were on pitch counts, during spring ball. They're out there running around for the fans and all of us to enjoy and watch today. And that was, that was fun. It was really fun.
Yeah. I thought the scoring was wacky. I think it would be better if it was a lot more simple and like defense gets a stop. It's 3 point. I don't know, or something. Make it more. But other than that, I thought it was really good. Like you always say, Tim, it's the spring game's about the young guys, and there's a lot of talent. I was very, pleased with the class of 2025 wide receivers and Bettis, Burris, and Scrap Richardson. You got to remember, Scrap Richardson's been playing receiver for a month. He played quarterback and in high school and defensive back. I thought he looked good. And Burris continued to hear that he's balling out, and he was one of my guys writing articles around signing day. I was like, I think he's going to play as a true freshman, and we'll see. Wow. I know that was the talk about Micah Gilbert last year, and he didn't play, but I think Burris might be
and that's a player, obviously, when it sees that he broke his hand on the third pass of the first practice.
Gilbert,
He's got a broken finger, so obviously but he's out there running and practicing all the time. He just can't do any teamwork, so at least he's getting in shape. Cam Williams had a drop, but then he comes back and makes a great catch on that deep in route from CJ Carr. Burris had a drop. We heard they both had some drops last week as well, but then they also made some nice catches as well. So that's nice, their mental makeup of, bam, I could drop, I have a drop and then come back and make a play. So very, very impressed with those receivers. The receiver, it is the best group since you and I have been doing this. It just is. I hate to say that because it scares the hell out of me, but we're going to jinx it. But it is the best group. And then defensively, I went in the spring. That's what it was. My big questions coming in the spring, obviously quarterback. We all knew that, but it was always that third corner. Because remember, we talked every year, the last 3 or 4 years, some backups has had to step up. So who's that guy this year? I think it's going to be Hobbs. That was a no-brainer. The interior D-line. What are they going to look like? And we didn't even see Donovan Hinish today. Right. Donovan Hinish was a game wrecker at times last year. So the D-line is going to be freakish. This is going to be one of those 2020, 2018 type of D-lines, those playoff D-lines, just depth, athleticism, and just ferociousness to the ball. Linebackers are going to be solid. The safety is still, right? Who is going to start across from a Don Shuler? Obviously, we got the Vatek guy who was out all spring, but his experience we're expecting. And then you got Talich and Tay Johnson. Tay Johnson, that's another athlete who's been coming on. You just see him run. Yeah. Absolutely awesome out there to run. But it's all about the quarterback. 2025 is going to be all about the quarterback. Limit some mistakes and let all that talent around you just go out and kick some butt and make some plays.
Folks asked about Kennedy Urlacher in the chat. I don't know. Do we know if he played or was he out? Or
I saw there was Sobel posted before the thing, like 3 guys are out. I don't think it was him. It was Brendan Vernon was out, Logan Thomas, and hold on, I'll find it. Hold on, guys. And Teddy Rizak was out. So those are the only 3 outside of any other guys, he said. That was Sobel earlier. So I didn't notice Urlacher. I think Urlacher's more of a special teams backup guy. That's my humble opinion. Urlacher, Ben Minnick, those types of safeties that are going to be situational guys, but great, great special teamers out there. And then we got a big flex of freshmen coming in, Mike.
Yep.
We talked about every year, right? Mike Singer talks about every year there's somebody in August.
Always.
Wasn't here in winter conditioning, wasn't here in spring conditioning that is going to get on that field in that 2 deep. So
always.
Who is it this year? Dallas Golden? Is it Flanagan in the tight end room? Is it Mark Zachary somehow, somewhere? Does he push for a third corner spot? There's athletes, man. There's athletes.
Yeah.
I came, lastly, I know we talked to a line, but I seriously came away. If this five-man front stays together.
Blair? Yeah, I didn't notice Blair either. I didn't
notice him unless he was playing, during – I'll be honest, I didn't pay attention to some of the 7-on-7.
Yeah.
So, 7-on-7, I got 3 minutes to go, change the load of laundry for the wife and kids. So that's what seriously, that's what I was doing. Oh, it's 7-on-7's over. Okay, let me come back over here. But
I don't know if Blair played.
I don't know. I know. I saw Tuli Alamaka on the sideline. There was a handful of guys just got somewhere else. But I don't know if Blair's been injured or if you've heard that.
Yeah. So Tim and I will be live next on Monday night. I'm traveling to Dallas Fort Worth this upcoming week, see some recruits. So I will be out. So we'll do Monday night show. I'll tweet out the show lineup for this week in the next couple days. So definitely lock into blueandgold.com for much more on this game, as well as recruiting in the coming days with the huge recruiting weekend in South Bend, as one would imagine. And definitely lock into the sites. Irish are rolling on the recruiting trail. And we'll have videos to cover all of that. Again, folks, hit the thumbs up if you have not done so yet. And as always, we will catch you next time.